young starting staff. They also talked about having a lot of power. Well, we've seen that. But the final aspect of the team that's different this year is speed. And last night, we saw all three of those elements in the win last night against the Red Sox.
And it started with Kyle Drabek on the mound. Drabek flashed some of that potential that we know that he has. 5 innings, 5 strikeouts, and he got some good hitters too. Adrian Gonzalez, one of the best with the changeup. Kevin Youkilis with a good hard fastball. The power was supplied by Jose Bautista. This line drive just clears the wall, and then J.P. Arencibia on pace for 25 home runs gets into the act, and the home runs didn't stop there.
David Cooper had his first major league home run, one of 3 home runs the Blue Jays would hit, and they showed their power, but it was the speed late in the ballgame that really proved the difference.
Yeah, Davis punches a ball through the middle and then proceeds on consecutive pitches, steals second, steals third. That was set up by his legs, and then the fly ball by David Cooper. A good job of fighting that one off with 2 strikes, scores the game winner. So there was pitching, there was power, and there was some speed, all of it on display last night, and that's a complete ball club.
An exciting way to play baseball, and the Blue Jays with that extra inning win. David Cooper didn't come into the game until the 6th inning as a pinch runner, hit his first major league home run, and then walked off the Red Sox with a sac fly in the 10th. Blue Jays will try to sweep the series here tonight against Boston. Jamie?
Local independently owned Home Hardware or Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners. Home Hardware or Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Blue Jays won the game last night 7-6 in 10 innings, and obviously in a one-run game, defense was crucial. And the Blue Jays got some outstanding defense, and Yunel Escobar was front and center early on in the first inning with Ellsbury at second.
This really helped out Kyle Drabek. First and second, nobody out, and he picks off Ellsbury. And then in the fourth inning, with the tying run at second base, Carl Crawford, the very fast runner, is going to be gunned down at the plate. First, a great throw, and then a great tag by Aaron Sevilla to cut him down at the plate. So good defense, especially against the Red Sox, those teams that really know how to win those. Key was charging the ball the way he did.
Terry Francona's Red Sox out-hit the Blue Jays 15-9 in last night's game, but they came up a run short. Top of the order is red hot. Jacoby Ellsbury has a 19-game hit streak. Dustin Pedroia, Adrian Gonzalez. Gonzalez had a 3-hit game last night, including 2 home runs. Kevin Youkilis was 0 for 5. Ortiz had a homer in last night's game. Crawford has a 10-game hit streak. Jared Saltalamacchia is still trying to get it going with the bat, and Jose Iglesias played defense last night, gets the start tonight at shortstop.
Very good offensive team. They got a little bit of everything, so Jesse Litch is going to have to be on his game. Takes the mound for his 7th start of the season. It's coming off his best outing of the year, allowing just 1 run on 4 hits, pitching into the 7th inning, stifling the Tigers last Friday. That was the game that the Blue Jays won 7-4 for his career. He has made 8 starts versus the Red Sox, has a winning record going 4-3 against Boston. Faced the Red Sox back on April the 17th and really had 1 bad inning. That was the 2nd inning, the bottom part of the lineup where he gave up 4 earned runs. In that game, the Jays would eventually lose to the Red Sox 8-1.
John Farrell defensively behind Jesse Litch has to mix and match as some of his players are getting very close to getting back onto the field. Patterson's in left, Davis in center, Bautista is in right. John McDonald for a second consecutive night is the starter at third base. Yunel Escobar, there was some doubt as to whether he'd be able to play after getting hit by a pitch last night. He's there at shortstop. Hill and Cooper on the right side, JP Arencibia playing more and more all the time, looking more like a regular catcher here for John Farrell.
David Cooper is a very good fielding first baseman. Hits the home run last night to put him ahead and wins it with his bat on the sacrifice fly in the 10th inning, so he'll get the start against the right-handed pitcher tonight for the Red Sox.
Red hot Jacoby Ellsbury steps in. He had 3 hits last night, extended his hit streak to 19 games with a first inning single, and even 300 on the season. Shows a bunt and takes it high. Jesse Litch, Pat mentioned, he had a pretty good game against the Red Sox, except that 1 inning where he just couldn't get the bottom of the order out. That cost him 4 runs.
Made a couple of mistakes with his pitches. Fell behind Jacoby Ellsbury, this guy hitting right here, and tried to sneak a fastball by him, and he put it in the seats to right field. Left-handers have given Jesse problems this year. That's one of the things that we'll be watching, especially early on in this game. Red Sox are very left-handed dominant.
Left-handers have hit .342 against Jesse Litch compared to .148 for the right-handed hitters. 2 balls and a strike. Pulled foul. We mentioned the 19-game hit streak, and you look around baseball, there have been some hit streaks. Andre Ethier had a 30-gamer that has come to an end. Alex Gordon tied for the 2nd longest hit streak of the season, but his is no longer intact. Ellsbury is active at 19 games. Well, he's pounded him inside a couple of times, and Ellsbury has to be quick just to spoil that good cutter.
One of the strong points that Litch has is he can run that cutter in on the left-handers. Going to have to use that breaking ball to both sides of the plate tonight.
4-3 in 8 starts for Jesse Litch against the Red Sox, and Ellsbury just looked at that outside off-speed pitch. Full count. late on a fastball.
You know, in Ellsbury, you mentioned the 19-game hit streak. It's not like he's just flaring a hit here and there to keep it going. He has been really on everything, hitting nearly 400 during this 19-game hit streak.
Ellsbury's had 2 hit streaks of 19 games or more. What a play by Cooper from his knees. He throws it to Litch, and right there, Ellsbury's robbed of a base hit. Possibly extra bases.
Time to put a star next to that one. David Cooper made a play like that in last night's game where he went to his right, fielded it, and threw a strike to the pitcher covering. This time he's going to take away extra bases from Ellsbury with the stretch and then leads them beautifully for the first out.
Defense was important last night and already has come into play here for Litch tonight.
Got to get over there, take a good angle. And Jesse Litch makes it look very easy to finish off the hitter.
Dustin Pedroia takes the first pitch strike. Pedroia last night had a couple of hits. He also walked twice. He was 2 for 4 in the game.
Average at 244 for Pedroia, and you know he is just itching to get out there and get that average up. And we were kind of joking at 6:30. We saw him sitting on the bench.
Had his gloves on, sitting on the bench, staring out there all by himself, just saying, come on, Jesse, let's go. Start this game.
Had his bat with him. It was like a little leaguer who was sitting on the bench, just couldn't wait for the game to start.
Dustin Pedroia is a perfect example of why you should never give up on your dreams. If you care to play a sport, don't let anybody tell you you can't. Pedroia was told his whole life, you're too small, you won't be able to play. Played in high school, went to Arizona State, was a star in college, and he's been an MVP in the American League. Told his entire life, hey, you can't play, you're too small.
There have been players like that forever in baseball that were told, well, you're not fast enough, or you don't throw hard enough, or you can't do this, you can't do that. Well, what about the things he can do? The guy's a gamer. He's out here today at 2:30 working on double plays with his new partner today. Iglesias, the shortstop.
The ball and 2 strikes. Lays off the pitch down and away. Jesse Litch has arguably been the most consistent starter the Blue Jays have had since he's come back from AAA.
He has made 6 starts this year. 5 times he has pitched at least 6 innings this year. The only time he didn't was that game in Seattle where he only went 5.
Off-speed pitch. Pedroia strikes out. Jesse Litch gets his first strikeout of the night. We take a look at Litch's splits before AAA and after AAA. Quite a dramatic difference, especially in the pitches per inning.
That is the whole key, I think, right there. Limit the exposure that you have out there. The earned run average is a little bit higher, but he just seems to be a little bit more aggressive since coming back from the minor leagues.
Adrian Gonzalez, 2 home runs in last night's game, the number 3 hitter. His average at 324.
He too is in one of those home run modes that we have seen, like a Jose Bautista, where you hit him in bunches.
He's hit 5 home runs over his last 8 games. You saw the infield defense. It's really interesting. Gonzalez hit 2 opposite field home runs last night, but look at the infield defense.
Playing him to pull, so that can mean a couple of things. They're going to throw off-speed pitches, or they're going to try and jam him.
Drilled to center field. Davis on the move at the wall. Hits the base of the wall. Gonzalez is headed for second. And he'll get there. He is hot. His 4th hit of the series and his 3rd extra base hit.
His last time up last night sent the left fielder back to the warning track, and his first time here looked like a breaking ball, and he just jumps all over it. Davis gives up on it and hits right at the base of the wall. And he'll cruise into second base for the 13th time this year.
That ball was right at the base of the wall. You'd think that if Davis had continued to run, he'd had a chance to catch it. Youkilis 0 for 5 last night with a runner in scoring position. Inside corner for a strike.
Jesse Litch has averaged right about 18 pitches per inning this year. The Blue Jays, as a team, have averaged 17.
Starters throwing entirely too many pitches per inning. There's a base hit left field. Patterson comes over, cuts it off. Gonzalez is headed for home, and Youkilis will be held to a long single. A 2-out single for Kevin Youkilis. The Red Sox have jumped out to a 1-0 lead.
2-out lightning by the Red Sox. A double, and then Youkilis, tied up all last night against Drabek and the rest of the relievers, comes through with a big 2-out hit for the Red Sox. Those pitches per inning again, Litch has already thrown 19 so far in this inning.
Now, Ellsbury had a full count when he grounded to first. Just a lot of pitches and a lot of information for the lineup here in the first. David Ortiz, fastball upstairs. That's the 20th pitch of the inning. The DH Ortiz had a homer and a double in last night's game. He was 3 for 5, scored a couple of runs. His average creeping up toward 300. Two and 0. We mentioned the starting pitchers, and John Farrell visited with us last night during the game and talked about his desire to see more fastball command. 21 pitches now for Litch.
Pitching off the fastball, but good quality pitches with your fastball.
Ortiz lifts it high into center field, and Davis has a beat on it. Ortiz is retired. The Red Sox are down in the first, but they scored a run with 2 outs. Kevin Youkilis picks up the RBI. He's driven in 20. 1-0 Boston. You know, Escobar, there was some doubt as to whether or not he'd be able to play tonight. He got hit by a John Lester pitch in last night's game. Escobar, Patterson, Bautista top of the order. Rivera, Hill, and Aaron Seavey in the middle. David Cooper with his first big league home run in last night's game. Cooper, McDonald, and Rajai Davis round out the lineup.
John Lackey will get the start tonight for the Boston Red Sox. Really struggled in his first 2 starts this season. Lackey gave up 15 runs in those first 2 starts, and then just 3 runs total in his next 3 starts. Seemed to be turning the corner, but then disaster struck his last time out. 8 runs, 10 hits. That was against the Angels.
And that one had to hurt his former team. The Angels roughed him up at Fenway. Gave up 5 consecutive base hits in the 4th inning. 2 balls and a strike. Lackey wondering where that last breaking ball was. 2-2 right on the corner.
They are going to need some length from Lackey again here tonight. Boston relievers have thrown at least 4 innings in 6 of the last 7 games, 3 of those games being extra inning games. So they are going to lean on it.
Underneath the diving Iglesias glove at shortstop, Escobar starts it off with a single.
Solid start for Escobar with that single into center field. Here's how the Red Sox will line up defensively. A lot of speed in the outfield. Crawford, Ellsbury, and J.D. Drew. Drew's only made 3 errors in the last 3 baseball seasons. You mentioned Jose Iglesias. This is his first major league start. He was just called up over the weekend, and he's their top prospect out of their farm system. Tonight's batter, John Lackey, will team up with Jared Saltalamacchia, doing the catching for the Red Sox.
Corey Patterson bunts it in the air, back to the pitcher to first, and they throw it away. Escobar goes back, tags up, and now he's headed for second. And he'll get there as Lackey made a poor throw after catching the pop-up. Escobar hurt himself going down to second. He stumbled on the artificial surface, and now he's behind second base, stretching out his legs. Remember, he got hit in last night's game, and now it looks like he's flexing as if his hamstring is bothering him. But he stumbled halfway to second base.
You make those quick stops and quick starts, the quick change of directions, and that's when things happen. First of all, the bunt, and they have a shot at first base, but Lackey throws it away. This will be the 4th error by a Boston pitcher this season. And just watch Escobar scrambles back. Everything seems to be fine right there. But on his way to second base, he stumbled a little bit right at the end there. You could see it. Maybe his cleats got stuck in the carpet a little bit.
Right here. Just caught his spikes on the carpet, and then he had to stretch himself out. He's in scoring position for Jose Bautista. Bautista had a home run in last night's game, his 11th.
Right there. And he loses his balance very momentarily.
Off the plate inside. Jose Bautista has reached base in 17 straight games. He is second in the American League in hitting now at .354. Matt Joyce has taken the lead.
How about that on-base plus slugging? 1.301. Jose upset with himself right there. That's something you don't see very often from Bautista. A check swing.
Had a pitch on his mind, and Lackey threw a different one. 2-2, 1 out. Red Sox up 1-0. Pops this one up. Should be playable. Gonzalez near the coach's box. Makes the catch. Bautista's retired. 2 outs. So with Escobar at second base, bring up Baron Rivera. Will bat with 2 outs. Rivera was 0 for 3. He was hit by a pitch and walked in last night's game. Adam Lind continues to deal with back spasms, and he is still unavailable. Lackey gets the first fastball past Rivera.
These are former teammates, Rivera and Lackey, with the Angels, so they haven't faced each other that much. Just a couple of at-bats for Juan Rivera. First John Lackey. You can see he really wants to challenge him with a fastball.
I think that's a good plan for anybody. I don't care how hard you throw or whether or not you're overpowering. If you establish the fastball, make the hitters adjust to you. And he's thrown some quality 2-seam fastballs inside. Red Sox lead at 1-0. Kevin Youkilis with the RBI single with 2 outs in the first. Popped him up. Catcher Saltalamacchia with his mask off is there, and Rivera's retired. The Blue Jays will strand the base runner. John Lackey has a 1-0 lead after 1. Are facing John Lester, gets hit by a pitch. He would eventually have to leave the game. It was characterized as a bruise on that left shin bone, and good news today is he is back in the lineup. And then the first inning he's tested again.
Yeah, quick stop, quick start, and then the stumble right around second base right there, right when he was slowing down. Spikes caught a little bit. It looked like he might have twisted his ankle or something like that. Called timeout, but he seems to be okay now.
J.D. Drew with a couple hits in last night's game. Singles into center field. That'll get down in front of Davis. Drew's aboard with the leadoff single.
Such an easy swing for J.D. Drew. He doesn't do anything at but one speed, but it's nice and smooth. Gets the bat head out, off-speed pitch, and he collects his third hit of the series.
Well, so often when you talk hitting, pitching, fielding, it's all about balance and being smooth through the zone. J.D. Drew has done that for a long time. So Drew's aboard. Carl Crawford riding a 10-game hit streak. So the first pitch just off the plate.
Crawford's another one of those batters who is starting to heat up a little bit for the Red Sox. He has raised his average 75 points over his last 16 games.
To give you an idea what kind of struggle he was in, he's hitting .210 now. So he was deep in the hole. Just 2 for 19 against the Blue Jays so far this season, and there are the numbers from his 10-game hit streak.
With so many good hitters that the Red Sox have, they have a dilemma. You know, Carl Crawford is not a number 8 hitter or a number 7 hitter. He belongs at the top of the lineup, and they try to take some of the pressure off and bat him down in the lineup until he starts getting hot. Who do you take out if you move up into, like, say, the number 2 or number 3 spot? Do you move everybody down? I mean, it's a great problem to have if you're Terry Francona.
Now, Dustin Pedroia is perfectly suited to bat second. The way he handles the bat, doesn't strike out an awful lot. And if you want to start Ellsbury or if you want to run Ellsbury, Pedroia is confident he can hit with 2 strikes. Euclid is a perfect 4 hitter. Gonzalez, the best hitter on the team, he's hitting third, and that's generally what you do with him. 1-1 to Crawford.
Yeah, I would want to guarantee that Adrian Gonzalez hits in the first inning. So it'd be tough to move him even down to number 4.
Crawford in that 7th spot. Gonzalez, boy, he has settled in very quickly here, and he's awfully smart making sure he goes to check with Varitek about Litch. Varitek, the 39-year-old catcher, has been in the league for a long time, and if you want to know something about an opposing pitcher, sit down with the captain.
And he doesn't need any crib notes either. He's got it all right between his ears.
And they are talking hitting, that's for sure. 2-2, nobody out. Crawford pops it up. Aaron Hill, the second baseman, calls for it. Crawford's retired. 1 out here in the second.
Before Jared Saltalamacchia steps in, let's take a look at the scouting report for the Blue Jays starter tonight. Jesse Litch, brought to you by Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners. Attack mode, I think that's what he has to be in. Work quickly, pound that strike zone, but work with the aggressiveness of throwing it down the middle. Rack them up. 9 strikeouts versus the Tigers. That is a career high in quick innings. I think Jesse Litch needs quick innings to get deep into the ball game. It's going to be tough against the Red Sox because they really have a tendency of working the pitcher.
Jared Saltalamacchia, the switch hitting catcher. Saltalamacchia in the game was 1 for 3, walked and struck out twice. 2-0. I like your scouting report. I want to ask you more about that as far as using your fastball, being aggressive. You've got a great lineup full of hitters. Isn't that counterproductive? They're looking for first pitch fastball.
They are, but if you throw it for a strike, I think you mentioned it last night when Kyle Drabek was on the mound. He would get behind 2-0, 3-1, and he would throw a fastball right down the middle. They'd take it. The Red Sox team, they're very good. They're very patient hitters, and I think you need to attack them, especially early with the fastball.
Well, yourself as a hitter, when you were facing a guy for the first time in a night, how much information did you want to get in that first at bat?
I always took the first pitch. Always. I wanted to see the ball come out of his hand. I wanted to get a feel for how fast the ball was coming in. And if he threw ball one, I was taking again. But that second or third time up, if he threw one of those fastballs down the middle.
Why the second or third time as your information increased?
Well, it only depends on, if there was nobody on, I'd probably take it again. But if there was a guy in scoring position or a guy at first base, I'm going to try and score him. And maybe he's thinking, well, this guy took my first pitch last time. Here it comes again. You know who was good about that on the Blue Jays team back then? George Bell was good at that. He would take that first pitch early in the game, and then you'd think he'd do it again in the 6th or 7th, and he would wear you out.
George Bell, much like Manny Ramirez, was a lot more than just a free swinger. And he's up on the ring of excellence because of his abilities. MVP for the Blue Jays. Full count, one out. Jared Saltalamacchia, the catcher, batting 8th. Drew at first. There goes Drew. Foul just outside of first. David Cooper made a dive for it. That to me is the toughest play for a left-handed fielding first baseman. When a base runner breaks, you've been holding him on and you bounce off the bag.
You bounce off, and then the line drive, and you got to bounce back. And it's not on your glove side. You got to reach across your body and try and snag it.
Yeah, a right-handed first baseman would have a better chance because that's where his glove would be, back closer to the bag. Another full count pitch, one out. There goes Drew. Another foul back. J.D. Drew's always been a very good base runner. Tremendous instincts, and he's one of those guys that does a lot of things with very little effort. It just looks like he's gliding out there, and that has been kind of a curse for him throughout his career.
They think he's not playing hard. Does it with not a lot of fanfare. Plays good right field also.
There goes Drew again, another foul back. He's getting in his sprints. How about the Drew family? Out of Georgia. J.D. a #1 pick, Steven a #1 pick, and Tim pitched in the big leagues. 3 brothers, all major leaguers.
Wasn't Drew the #1 overall, I believe, with Philadelphia, but didn't sign?
Didn't sign, yeah.
And then went back into the draft, and the Cardinals got him a couple of years later as a #1 pick.
J.D. Drew was drafted by the Giants in the 20th round in 1994 out of high school, and then in the first round, 2nd overall by the Phillies.
Okay, 2nd overall.
And didn't sign. And then 5th overall by the Cardinals in '98, the next year. There he goes again. Ground ball to second. Hill has time to go to second. They get Drew back to first. Double play. Aaron Hill almost got that ball hung up in his glove, but he still had time. He saw where Drew was. He was right in front of him. And he shovels it in time to Escobar, who's got that strong arm, and he drills it to first for the double play. Cardinals to the Angels, and second for signing Bautista.
Unloading a lot of money on the Angels, and they turned around and gave that money for Jose Bautista. The thinking, I believe, for Heyman, signing Jose Bautista, taking a gamble, signing him to a 5-year contract now. If they had waited till the end of the season and Bautista had a great year like he is having, it would have probably cost him double.
Aaron Hill pops it up to right. Ball is blowing away from Drew. He had to come in very quickly, but it gets there. One out here in the second.
Does that sound about right? Maybe double they'd have to pay for?
Oh, absolutely. I believe his contract is $8 million this year. It jumps to 14 over the next 4 years, and that's a bargain if he continues to play at the same pace he's playing right now. And then you think about Lance Berkman signing a $8 million contract with the Cardinals. Everybody going, wow, what a Cardinals team. That's a terrible sign. JP Arencibia hits it to Pedroia.
Yeah, he's got to play every day in the outfield, and he hasn't played the outfield for a few years. Well, Lance Berkman is just raking.
Third in the National League in batting average at .367. He's tied for second in home runs with 10, and he's tied for first in RBIs with 32. They're getting the bang for their buck, too.
Pretty good signing right there.
How about Paul Konerko re-signing with the White Sox? They've signed him and kept him in the fold. And how about the Red Sox making the deal for Adrian Gonzalez and then signing him?
They gave up a lot. They gave up 3 prize prospects, but when you have a chance to get a Gold Glove type first baseman who is perfectly suited to hit in that ballpark, we certainly saw that last night.
David Cooper is in a hole 0-2. Cooper with a home run. His first major league home run came against Daniel Bard, and in that at bat, Bard had thrown 100, and Cooper caught up with it. That hit him. Fastball up and in, and Cooper will take first.
Set up pitch. 0-2. They wanted to go up, but not up and in. You can see Saltalamacchia where he is set up. He wanted it. They're not that type of team that throw the ball like that up around your head.
The Red Sox do that more than any team in the American League. Just throw pitches up. John McDonald cuts on the first pitch, hits it to shortstop. Cooper is out sliding at second base. The Blue Jays go quietly in with second. We played 2 innings here at Rogers Center. Boston leads 1-0. A rookie, so he wants to get as much information as possible.
What does he throw? How hard does he throw it? Let's go over the signs, and for good measure, you know, I'm not real sure. Maybe I better go ask a guy who's been around. So he's going to take the walk down to the bench and talk to Dustin Pedroia, and he's saying, okay, what's the hit sign? Because he can hit.
He can hit. He had an at-bat in last night's game. Iglesias came on late in the ball game as a pinch runner in the 8th for Jed Lowry. Big swing and a miss. 0-2.
Just 21 years old. Voted the #1 prospect in the Red Sox organization.
Bouncing ball to short. Escobar on balance makes the throw. Took a little extra step to right himself and threw on the run to retire Iglesias.
Who can run also, thinking about getting a base hit off the end of the bat. Litch almost comes up with it. There's that strong in play just ahead of Iglesias at first base. Youngest shortstop to play for the Red Sox since 1971.
Back to the top of the order. Jacoby Ellsbury. Okay, I got to know who's the shortstop. 1971.
Juan Beniquez.
Juan Beniquez.
Remember Juan Beniquez?
Yeah.
Came up as a shortstop.
Had a tremendous arm.
Yes.
Unfortunately, he'd throw it about 12 rows deep at Fenway, and he became an outfielder.
Titi Beniquez.
Ellsbury sharply hit, but right to the shortstop. Boy, there is nothing like a little extra in reserve if you're a shortstop like Escobar when you've got a good runner like Ellsbury.
Yeah, what a weapon. Ellsbury was watching him the whole way down that line, and he could really run. Ball's hit sharply to Escobar, but he just wound up and threw a strike over to first base.
Dustin Pedroia struck out on a changeup his first time up. Jesse Litch needs a quick inning. And he might get it. McDonald across the diamond. Jesse indeed gets a quick inning. A 1, 2, 3, third inning. Just 7 pitches. That'll bring the pitch count back in order.
Mound for this inning. Let's take a look at the scouting report. Fastball command is very key for Lockheed. He needs to pitch off of his fastball and establish it early tonight. 2 off-speed pitches. He's got a slurve and a cutter that he will use in the middle parts of at-bats. Very durable starter also. He's one of 3 pitchers in the American League since 2002 to make at least 250 starts. CC Sabathia, Mark Buehrle, the other 2. So you can count on John Lackey to rack up starts and a lot of innings.
Number 9 hitter is Rajai Davis. He got a big hit in last night's game with 1 out, single to center, and then he proceeded to steal second and third. and set up David Cooper for that sac fly.
Did you see when Yunel Escobar got to second base in the first inning how close they really kept him there? They were talking about that play where Davis stole third base and Iglesias was the shortstop and was not very close.
Ripped into left field. That'll be a base hit for Davis. Well, with Davis in his speed, he has 9 steals, and that's always a problem for the Boston Red Sox.
Varitek and Jerry Saltalamacchia, you can see the most stolen bases allowed have been the Red Sox. Saltalamacchia has thrown out 9 of 35 attempting to steal against him this year. They're expecting a bunt. We're expecting a stolen base.
Yeah, they may show bunt, but I would be surprised if Escobar uses the straight bunt without giving Davis a couple of pitches to try to steal it.
They might bunt if he steals, but why give him an out when you have that type of speed over at first base?
Pitch out. Nothing doing. Everybody was on the move. Lackey is an easy mark for base runners like Davis. They've caught just 1 of 9 while Lackey's on the mound. Catchers have to have some help. Again, we've seen this pattern all season long. Base stealing threat at first. Pitcher loses the strike zone. Now he's in a hitter count. 75%, that's what you're looking for. At least 75% success rate. Slide step 3-0.
That was close. Close to being a balk. Not stopping. But you're right about the pitchers doing something that they're not used to.
4-pitch walk. The simple threat of a stolen base leads to a walk. First and second, nobody out.
Rajai Davis on that 3-1 count really broke towards second base. I think more trying to distract John Lackey, the pitcher. This is a 3-0 count. Instead of just laying out, he takes a full-blown step towards second base, and now he can just jog because it's ball 4.
Corey Patterson popped up a bunt attempt his first time up. Popped it right back to the pitcher, Lackey. Not showing bunt this time. That's 5 straight balls thrown by John Lackey. Corey Patterson just 2 for 16 against Lackey. Boy, Davis is really working for a lead. Look at Iglesias shadowing him.
He keeps looking into the dugout to find out where they want him to play. Getting a little bit closer to try and keep that runner closer to the bag.
Ball and a strike. 2-1. You played on the infield, and you played at a time where stealing bases was much more prevalent. How much of a distraction is it for you if you're playing third, where you got to keep your eye on the runner, but you also have to be wary of the hitter?
One eye on the hitter, one eye on the runner. I mean, it was very confusing. Very, very tough to do it. It's like your head was swiveling back and forth the whole time. You're watching the pitcher, you're watching the batter, you're watching the runner.
And then if the pitcher happens to use the slide step, you could be looking at second when that ball gets into the zone. It's an uncomfortable feeling for the entire defense. And John Lackey knows the Red Sox don't deal well with this. He was their pitching coach for the last 4 years. John Farrell, of course.
We saw that back at Fenway Park earlier this season when Bobby Jenks came into the ballgame. They were double stealing and straight stealing, delay stealing, doing a little bit of everything. Jenks started doing first to third moves. I've never seen him do that before.
Full count. Davis at second, Escobar at first. Red Sox leading 1-0. But that lead is in danger here in the third. There goes Davis, fouled off. Escobar was right behind him. Now, when you have a hitter at the plate like Patterson and you start the runners, there's going to be movement all over the infield.
Yeah.
And that's going to really open up a lot of holes.
Shortstop goes to the bag. The only thing I worry about, though, is the line drive right out of infield. I keep looking at the guy on deck, and I want him to hit with a couple of guys on. I don't want a line drive double play. I'll strike him out, throw him out.
You got a chance of a line drive triple play.
Yeah, if you start with both runners.
Again, the inside move from Lackey. Well, he gave up a base hit. He walked Escobar, and now he's got a full count on Patterson. He's still distracted by Davis at second. There he goes. Base hit into right field. Patterson has delivered the RBI single. Davis scores, and it's a tie game. Boy, if you could have drawn it up, that's exactly what you have drawn up. A base hit, a walk, start to runners, and a base hit to right. 1-1.
It was a line drive, but solid into right field by Corey Patterson. Blue Jays are in business now. They start the runners. There's your line drive, and Escobar picks up his third base coach and just cruises in. Rajay Davis reads that that's into the outfield. He can shift down a little bit and score the game's first run for the Blue Jays.
Jays have tied it at 1-1. And the dangerous Jose Bautista. Great RBI situation for Bautista.
11 home runs and 20 RBIs.
There goes Patterson. No throw. Eliminates the possibility of a double play.
And it also means 2 RBIs on a single. Gets a running lead, and as soon as Lackey goes home, no throw.
5th steal of the season for Corey Patterson. 2 in scoring position for Jose Bautista. Lackey doesn't want anything to do with Bautista in this situation. Juan Rivera's on deck.
And that's why I said 11 home runs and 20 RBIs. They don't pitch to him when there are runners on base. No chance.
33rd walk of the season issued to Jose Bautista.
Not even close to the strike zone. Those last 2 were almost pitch outs.
Wow, and that's a perfect example of the old phrase, don't let him hurt you. He would have had to have a wagon tongue to reach those.
We'll get a boat oar to try and hit those pitches. Lackey knew what he was doing.
Yep.
He didn't want to face them.
Pitching coach Kurt Young with a short message to the big right-hander. Now Juan Rivera. Rivera popped up to the catcher to end the first inning. Blue Jays have tied it. 2 hits, a couple of walks, still nobody out. Rivera pops it over into the seats and out of play. Big opportunity for Rivera here early in the ballgame. He has 3 grand slams. Off the plate. Well, I tell you what, Lackey really got rattled after the base hit and the walk, and then base runners on. He just has lost contact with the strike zone.
Yeah, the line drive to left field by Davis, and you know what he's going to do over at first base, and just lost it.
poked out of play.
And it's not so much that he's intimidated by the situation, but he's just so distracted trying to keep an eye on the runner and then throw a strike. And then he throws 4 wide ones to Bautista, and now he's trying to get his command back to Rivera. Escobar, Patterson, and Bautista, 3rd to 1st. Breaking ball that he reached for and fouled on.
But right now, Juan Rivera's first move with that front foot is towards the third base dugout. And that's why John Lackey is staying away from it, trying to get him to reach for it. Anything on the inner half and he's going to rip it. So they're trying to stay away from it.
Cut on and missed. Lackey comes in, strikes out Rivera with the inside pitch. First out of the inning.
Opening up just a little bit too quickly. Watch the front foot go towards the bag, and that will pull your head off the ball a little bit. Lackey comes up with a big strikeout.
Aaron Hill with the bases loaded and 1 out. Goes after the first pitch. Hill is batting .364 with runners in scoring position and less than 2 outs. That's where he's at right now against Lackey. Down and away.
And I wouldn't be thinking about fly ball here. Damage. You're right. I'm thinking about line drive over a shortstop's head or a line drive over the second baseman's head. Keep that front side in. I don't want one.
I think Hill's thinking the same thing. Looked like he was loaded up looking on the inner half.
Lackey thought that was a strike and said something to Gary Darling.
Off the plate. Again, you can read Lackey's body language. Thought he had made another good pitch with the breaking ball. 3-1, 1 out. Red Sox scored their run in the top of the first. Left side, Youkilis dives, has trouble getting it out of his glove, and he can only get one. A run comes in. The Blue Jays have taken a 2-1 lead. Hill will get the RBI.
He almost squeaked it through the left side. But Youkilis comes over, cuts it off, had thoughts of going to second base to get that lead runner. But when he couldn't get the transfer, glove to hand, stays under control, sets his feet, and throws a strike over to first to get the out.
They made a good play on the dive to keep it from going to left field. JP Arencibia with 2 runners in scoring position. Looks at a high fastball. Patterson at third, Bautista at second. Arencibia, this is his first game facing John Lackey. He grounded to second his first time up. Takes a breaking ball strike. The Jays have made Lackey work here in the third.
He has had 15 career starts versus the Blue Jays and a losing record since he has joined the Red Sox. He has made 4 starts against the Blue Jays with an ERA over 8. They haven't had a lot of difficulty against the big right-hander.
Three balls and a strike.
Lackey has walked 2 in the inning and given up 2 singles. Patterson had an RBI single. He's at third. Bautista walked. He's at second. Right center field. Ellsbury's got a lot of speed and he's got room and he runs it down just short of the warning track. But the Blue Jays get to John Lackey. A leadoff single by Davis starts everything. They score 2 runs on 2 hits and a couple of walks. It's 2-1 Blue Jays. Jose Molina's the backup catcher. So it's very difficult to move if you're John Farrell. Right now, Ricky Romero wished that Jose Molina would move and go sit down. Players are always messing with the starting pitchers, aren't they?
That's why they sit together down at the end of the bench.
John Farrell and Blue Jays have a 2-1 lead. Jesse Litch, top, middle of the order. Gonzalez, Euclid, and Ortiz. Gonzalez has already doubled here tonight. Came in to score the Red Sox run.
That average keeps going up for Adrian Gonzalez. 11th multi-home run game of his career last night. Impressive fashion also to left field.
And no doubters. I mean, it's not like he accidentally hit them to left. He was driving them to left. Let me ask you this. You've been around the game a long time, and we've always heard the phrase, it's a sweet swinging left-hander. And I would categorize Gonzalez that. You ever hear a sweet swinging right-hander?
Only one. The only one. You got to go way back, too. Joe DiMaggio, for me,
good call.
Had the sweetest right-handed swing.
Very smooth, very balanced.
Go ahead.
And it looked like, you know, he wasn't putting any effort into it.
Right. On the flip side, have you ever seen a left-hander have a weak swing? I don't.
No, we could think of a couple of weak swings if we just took a minute. 2-2. Adrian Gonzalez has terrific opposite field power. We saw it firsthand last night.
How he stays behind the ball. A lot like Adam Lynn. The way Lynn can stay behind the ball and drive it the other way. His head stays down, his body together behind that ball. Has that ability to go the other way.
2-2. Got him. Elevated that fastball. He couldn't catch up to it, and he couldn't extend to drive it to the opposite field.
Yes, that's where you've got to pitch them. Guys who like the ball away, they like to extend and watch his hands. Just can't pull them in.
Boy, look at the pitch tracks, how they bunched everything up and in. You find a weakness, and if you can command your fastball, you exploit that weakness. 1 out.
Pretty good adjustment right there. Doubled his first time up on a pitch away, so they say, okay, that's not working. Let's go in.
Euclid pops it into shallow center. Hill, Escobar. Escobar will take it. 2 quick outs here in the 4th.
On Rogers Sportsnet, brought to you by your local independently owned Home Hardware or Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
I'm going to give you one more sweet left-handed swing. See if it classifies. Robinson Cano.
Oh, beautiful.
And I'm going to give you one that's not so sweet. See what you think. How about Johnny Damon's swing? That's not what you would call a sweet swing.
Yeah,
and
you're
he's,
right.
He's closing in on 3,000 hits.
Okay, we named one.
I would even say that Ichiro's swing isn't what you would call a sweet swing.
Really?
It's not fluid by any means. There's a big pop-up over near the seats, long run as they were played in the shift, and Jesse Litch is the one that got the closest to it.
Jesse Litch getting his sprints in off the mound. We told you he's a good fielder. He wanted that one. Maybe his only chance to get a pop-up with the shift on, and here comes Jesse.
Well, look at Litch. He was well aware that he was the only one that had a legitimate chance, and did a pretty good job to get over there. Tell you what, if it stays on the field, he catches it.
He catches it.
Now he's going to catch his breath.
Yeah. Take some time.
Take a deep breath, Jesse. Ball in the strike. Jesse Litch has caught his breath.
I like your call on Johnny Damon.
Yeah, it's not a sweet swing. It's just kind of a.
It's funky, but
it's very effective.
Very effective.
Of course, we've always got to mention John Alderwood when we talk about sweet swings. I'll give you one more right-hander, and we'll wrap up this topic and see how you vote. How about Paul Molitor?
Solid. I mean,
pretty sweet swing,
sweet swing.
Balanced.
Effortless.
Some of the old-timers, like Zimmer, Don Zimmer, used to compare Molitor to DiMaggio. Same type of swing. Change-up. Full count to Ortiz.
I guess our names didn't get mentioned.
I was just going to say the same thing.
In the righties, huh?
We were those guys that said, how in the world do they hit like that?
Well, that's what happens when you grab the wrong end.
Full count, 2 outs. Ortiz stays the line. Jesse Litch got a double play off the bat of Saltalamacchia to end the 2nd. 3 ground ball outs in the 3rd. A strikeout and a pop-up here in the 4th. This is not unlike what he did to the Red Sox last time he faced them. Pitched 6 innings. Had just the hiccup in the 2nd. Popped him up. Aaron Hill is camped under it. That's where he was playing Ortiz. It comes right down in his glove. Another 1-2-3 inning. Litch has retired 7 in a row. Blue Jays lead 2-1. The instructors will include Dwayne Ward, Darren Hall, and Rance Mulliniks. For more information, log on to BlueJays.com/camps. The Toronto Blue Jays are proud supporters of amateur baseball across Canada. These camps are filling up, so make sure you sign up in a hurry. It's a great opportunity to meet some former Blue Jays and get some great baseball instruction. Blue Jays lead the Red Sox 2-1 here, bottom of the fourth inning. David Cooper is hit by a pitch. There's a curveball that evens the counter, ball and the strike. Cooper was hit by an up and in fastball on an 0-2 pitch from Lackey. Blue Jays have been hit 3 times in this 2-game series. Cooper to right center, but that'll hang up for J.D. Drew. Sound like he got it off the end of the bat.
Took a little something off that fastball. And Cooper just missed it.
Something off that fastball, just missed the top of the strike zone. John Lackey was a second-round draft pick of the Anaheim Angels in 1999. Came to the big leagues in 2002. John McDonald, left field. Crawford back at the track, at the wall. Home run, McDonald. Second home run of the year for Johnny Mack. It's 3-1 Blue Jays.
He has been turning on some fastballs this year. And he is rewarded with a home run. Not real sure if it's going to have enough legs to get out, so he is sprinting and then can break it down to the home run trot.
Rajai Davis cuts on the first pitch and looks a high pop in foul ground. Saltalamacchia will run out of room.
Johnny Mack, fastball, turn on it. Home run number 2.
John McDonald had an awful lot of playing time early in the season because of all the injuries to the infielders. Jason Nix is still on the disabled list. Aaron Hill just came off. Escobar has missed some time. Davis, his second hit of the night.
Save during the lawn and garden sale. Only at Home Hardware and Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Home run number 2 for John McDonald. Comes with 1 out here in the 4th inning. Davis aboard for a second time. He singled and scored in the 3rd. Breaks for second. Boy, when he breaks, Dustin Pedroia breaks for the bag. And Pedroia's got to react to Rajai Davis. He has coverage.
And it opens up a gigantic hole on the right side. Middle infielders will look in and look for the sign. With a right-handed batter at the plate and a breaking ball, percentages say that he will pull that ball, so the second baseman's got coverage around the bag. But with the first baseman holding on the runner, and if that second baseman breaks to the bag, you could roll a ball to the right side and get a base hit.
There goes Davis. Ball is taken. The throw from Saltalamacchia is a good one, but not in time. Saltalamacchia threw a strike, but Davis got such a good jump. Even though the ball was right on the bag, Davis steals it.
We talked about it last night, that he has the ability to just outrun the baseball. Pedroia thought that he tagged him and then slid over the bag, kept the tag on him, but his foot never left the bag.
And look at Pedroia now. He's right behind second. Calls for the ball. Lackey's already made a throwing error here tonight on a pop-up.
Here is that slide. He's got his hand in, and there's the leg. Pedroia stays right on him, and he stays on the bag.
And the foot came off. And the ball gets away from Saltalamacchia, but Davis, after breaking to third, scampers back.
He's got to put a lot of pressure on the catcher also. When you've got a guy like this who can do things on the bases and they're not afraid to run on you.
Well, Saltalamacchia has made some good throws. That last throw was,
yeah,
can't get any better than that. 3-0 to Escobar. There goes Davis on the 3-0. Safe. Tell you what, this is some kind of exciting style of baseball. The Blue Jays talked about adding to their offense with speed.
3-0. You know he's going to throw a fastball, so it makes it a little bit tougher to steal third base, but that good speed, and he's aggressively in there just ahead of that throw.
3-1. Popped over into the seats.
And you know a hitter will gladly take a pitch to let that runner get into third base with less than 2 outs. The infield has to come in and makes you a better hitter. And then you're just looking to drive him in.
Full count, 1 out. That'll get him in from third. The ball is caught by Ellsbury. He's running away. Won't have a throw as Davis jogs in with the 4th Blue Jay run.
The winning run last night was manufactured by Rajai Davis. Single, stole second, stole third. Scored on a sacrifice fly. Tonight's 4th run, same way. Single, stole second, stole third, and then a sacrifice fly by Escobar.
Corey Patterson lays off the inside fastball. Patterson's driven in a run here tonight. Goes after that breaking ball off the plate inside. .272 average for Corey Patterson, 16 RBIs. Pretty productive.
Couple of home runs, driven in some big runs against some good pitchers.
That ball ties him up inside. Hard slider right on the hands. Patterson's only had 103 at bats. Started out the season on the disabled list because of a ball he took to the helmet in spring training against the Red Sox.
You were rattling off some numbers that Corey Patterson has had against some good pitchers in his career.
Pretty impressive list of a who's who. This time he gets jammed, and Pedroia will make the catch on a little soft line drive, but the Blue Jays add a couple more. John McDonald with the home run, and Yunel Escobar a sacrifice fly. Now it's time for a connected update. Here's Jamie Campbell in the Blackberry broadcast studio. 18th, 7:07 p.m. Thursday the 19th, another night game. It starts just after 7. For Blue Jays information, call 416-341-1234. You can get your tickets there. Or you can log on to BlueJays.com, or you can stop by most Rogers Plus locations. Tampa Bay lost last night. That snapped a string of 8 consecutive road wins for Joe Maddon's ball club. They're losing tonight, as you heard from Jamie Campbell, or they're winning tonight 4-0 with David Price on the mound in Cleveland.
Well, one thing's guaranteed when you play the Tampa Bay Rays. It's going to be a good game, close, and we'll probably get a good pitcher matched up against a good starting pitcher.
Tampa Bay lost last night. Andy Sonnenstein was the spot starter in the spot of Jeff Neiman, who's on the disabled list. Now Jesse Litch falls behind 3-0 to the leadoff hitter here in the 5th. Blue Jays lead Red Sox 4-1. They won last night in extra innings, a 7-6 affair. It'll be Drew Crawford and Saltalamacchia to bat here in the 5th.
The bottom of the lineup, so we'll have to watch it. Left-handed batters, and it seems like the bottom of the lineup at one point in a game has given Jesse Litch some trouble.
Happened to him in Boston last time he faced the Red Sox. Bottom 4 in succession had base hits and was capped off by Jacoby Ellsbury's home run. So Drew's aboard. Carl Crawford looks at an outside pitch. 5 straight balls thrown by Jesse Litch. That's a strike. Blue Jays turned a double play in the 2nd inning. Jared Saltalamacchia hit into the 4-6-3 double play. That ended the frame. Crawford's a tough guy to double up. Base hit into left field for Crawford. J.D. Drew will move up to 2nd.
Garden sale only at Home Hardware and Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Carl Crawford has extended his hit streak to 11 games with that single.
More like Carl Crawford this month of May. His on-base percentage is up around 400. And the Red Sox come right back after the Blue Jays score a couple in the bottom of the 4th inning. They're threatening here in the 5th. I think the whole key for Jesse Litch is strike 1. If you look at the numbers that he has put up this year, after the first pitch, if he jumps ahead 0-1, batters are hitting 172 against Litch. He falls behind 1-0, 352. And that's holding right now this inning. He's fallen behind all 3 of the hitters.
And that's a bigger differential than the league average. League average is about 100 points. He's almost 180 points there. There's a strike. And everybody said, well, you don't want to give up a base hit on the first pitch. I will take my chances on the first pitch, just like you were explaining your mindset as a hitter when you played.
At least early in the game, you want to take a look at the guy. Maybe with guys on base, you might be a little bit more aggressive. That's where you could flip it up there.
One and two. We're in the 5th inning. Jesse Litch has needed 70 pitches to get to this point. Still nobody out. He had a 7-pitch 3rd inning. 93 with the fastball does the trick. First out of the inning.
Just his third strikeout of the night, and it's a big one. First two batters reach, and he reaches back himself to get the strikeout of Saltalamacchia.
The shortstop, Jose Iglesias, had his first at bat, grounded out to shortstop. On the ground, McDonald bobbles it, throws to second. They still get the force out at second. Had a possibility of a double play, but McDonald stayed with it and got Crawford at second.
Iglesias can run down that line. It would have been close if he comes up with it cleanly and had to go around the horn. But that's why that strikeout was so big at Saltalamacchia. Not advancing the runners after the first two batters got on. He almost got out of it with the double play.
First and third, back to the top of the order, Jacoby Ellsbury. 0 for 2 so far. Ellsbury trying to extend his hit streak. He has a 19-gamer. Jesse Litch would love to see it come to an end here tonight.
Yeah. He has had, in the last 3 seasons, 3 hit streaks of 18 or more games.
One ball, no strikes, 2 outs. Jesse Litch pitching with a 3-run lead. Of course, there's great history with the Red Sox franchise. And when you look back, the hit streak since 1920. Ellsbury has 2 of 19 games or more. And then you look at the list of players that have had longer hit streaks. Fred Lynn, Mike Greenwell, Dom DiMaggio, Wade Boggs, and Nomar Garcia-Parra. Garcia-Parra has had 4 hit streaks of 20 games or longer. He had that during his career. Had a 30-game hit streak in 1997.
Is that the team record, the 30?
No, Dom DiMaggio had a 34-game hit streak in 49. Two balls, no strikes, 2 outs. Jesse Litch hoping that Iglesias would break it first. He was anchored over at first base.
2-0. This was the count back at Fenway Park with Ellsbury, and they tried to go inside with a fastball. Let's see if they change up now, maybe go away. Looks that way.
Ellsbury hit a 3-run home run in that 4-run second inning. That erased an early Blue Jays 1-0 lead, and that was with John Lester on the mound for Boston. It was pretty much game, set, and match in the second. Went outside but missed. Dustin Pedroia's on deck. The leadoff walk started this inning. There's a strike with the fastball.
Taking all the way. Locked in right now.
Right on the corner. Full count.
Stay right there. Good pitch. Even if he swings at it, it's not a lot he can do with it. You can see it's right on the corner, according to pitch tracks.
Full count. The base runner at first, Jose Iglesias, will be off on the pitch. J.G. Drews at third. Cooper deep at first. Drive it back. Blue Jays have a 4-1 lead. Red Sox are threatening to cut into that lead with 2 outs. Ellsbury stays alive as he reaches for that outside pitch. Iglesias will retreat to first. Johnson couldn't get out of the way. That ball smoked the first base coach.
And you can't rub it.
And that's why you wear the helmet. And that got him good.
Hooks the ball, and you're not sure if you should go to your right or go to your left. It looks like it got him right on the left leg.
And we know it hurts. Another full count, 2 outs. Iglesias will be on the move. There he goes. Poke towards shortstop. Escobar got tangled up with Iglesias, but throws out Ellsbury at first base to end the inning. Jose Bautista has reached now in 18 straight games. He will lead it off, followed by Juan Rivera and Aaron Hill. Blue Jays lead it 4-1. Season, Jose Bautista has 65 home runs, 16 more than Albert Pujols. He leads all of baseball.
That's the impressive part about that, how far ahead he is to the next guy. 16 more home runs.
Pops this one up a mile high. Gilchrist drifting near the bag in fair territory. Bautista's retired. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell for an update. Eric Hosmer was the 3rd pick overall in the 2008 draft, and he's the first high school player from that draft to reach the big leagues. Kansas City's done a good job of promoting their young players. Rivera hits it into center. Ellsbury retreats. 2 quick outs here in the 5th.
We were talking about sweet swings. Have you seen Eric Hosmer swing a bat?
He's a big guy, too.
Big.
about 6'4", and he's got a very fluid swing. At Omaha in AAA, he was 16 for 32 with 3 homers against left-handed pitching. And he's a left-handed hitter. He is the real deal. It's interesting that he is up there. You know, there's the old argument about how you know when to call him up. He had an 8-game hit streak just before he was called up. He was hitting .613. That gets over Pedroia's head into right field. Hill has his first hit of the night.
You want to call up young hitters when they're on those type of hit streaks so they can continue on to the big leagues.
Eric Hosmer is 21 years old. He was hitting .439 at AAA, had 98 at bats, and he was doing it all. He walked 19 times and struck out 16 times. All the things you want to see to indicate a young player is ready to be called up.
And that was his first year at AAA. He was in AA last year.
Pacific Coast League, same league that Las Vegas is in. JP Arencibia, 0 for 2 so far.
JP Arencibia played in the Pacific Coast League last year. 32 home runs in that league.
Hit hard, but Youkilis is there at third. Force out at second, and Arencibia hits it hard, but the force out. Just 8 pitches in the inning for John Lackey. He trails by 3. Comparable. Big difference for Litch is he has 3 strikeouts, but he's held the Red Sox to just 4 hits.
Well, they're very similar type of pitchers. They pitch to contact. They don't get a lot of strikeouts. But when Litch needed a strikeout last inning, he was able to reach back for 93 miles an hour to get the strikeout versus Saltalamacchia. Depending on this inning, how it goes for Jesse Litch, if it's a quick inning, they might be able to get a couple more from him.
Well, and that's what you're hoping for. Get your pitcher into the 7th. Bruce Walton's ideal start, 7 innings on 105 pitches from his start.
Having a quick inning, this inning will go a long way to get 7 complete from him.
Dustin Pedroia, the Red Sox second baseman, 0 for 2. Good changeup. A big swing and a miss from Pedroia. Great arm action on that changeup by Jesse Litch.
Bury it in your palm of your hand and then throw it as hard as you can. You don't don't want to tip your changeup to those batters, so you got to get that good arm speed.
Litch is doing a good job of burying that pitch down in the zone.
That's where they want him to live, right there. Unless you're trying to go up there for a reason. Nice.
That comeback two-seamer does the trick. Pitch number 5 is on the outside corner. 4th strikeout for Litch.
I think that can be an effective pitch for him. That comeback fastball. You can tie up lefties that way, and right-handers will give up on it.
Gonzalez has pumped his average up 3 points with the double in 2 trips. We mentioned Eric Hosmer was the 3rd pick in the 2008 draft. David Cooper was 17th, taken by the Blue Jays in the 1st round. The 16th pick in the 2008 draft was Brett Lawrie. He was drafted by the Milwaukee Brewers, and of course Lawrie is now playing 3rd base at Las Vegas for the Blue Jays.
2008.
Pretty good draft.
Yeah.
Brett Wallace was 13 from St. Louis. How about Buster Posey, 5th for the Giants. Gordon Beckham, 8th by the White Sox. Justin Smoke, number 11.
Pedro Alvarez, that was that draft, wasn't it? He was 2nd overall by Pittsburgh. He's at the big leagues.
Tim Beckham was taken 1st overall by Tampa Bay, but that was a pretty talented, rich draft.
Getting up here quickly. 3 years.
1-2, 1 out. Inside off the plate. It's all about adjustments when you pitch to tough hitters like Gonzalez.
You've got to move the ball around. You can't just sit in one area. Last time it was up and in, and they tied him up and got the strikeout. Now they're staying in, but it's down.
Now, J.P. Arencibia is doing a good job, and one thing you don't want to do is fall in a pattern. And John Farrell believes that Arencibia has really become a creative game caller early on. And you can see he's got the wheels spinning right now, thinking about where he's going next.
Fastball up and in.
Good spot.
Worked last time that they faced Adrian Gonzalez. Just couldn't get the arms extended.
2-2. Arencibia has worked every day with Don Wakamatsu on his catching mechanics, and then he'll get with pitching coach and try to put together a game plan. He wants to go back door, get it away. Off the plate.
Today they are out on the field early working on finding a stance that will work for him to come out and improve his throws there around the bases. Also trying to get in a good stance to block balls.
Another ball hit deep to left field. Patterson on the move at the wall. This ball is gone. Adrian Gonzalez with his 3rd home run of the series. Another shot into the Blue Jays bullpen. Gonzalez has now hit 6 home runs in his last 9 games.
That swing might be made for Fenway Park, how he stays behind that ball. They were very effective against him last time by pitching him in, that time away, and trickles over the wall for a home run.
Gonzalez is the hottest home run hitter in the big leagues right now. Well, you talk about doing your homework. Red Sox scouts having a look at Gonzalez in that big Petco Park, saying, you know what? It looked pretty good at Fenway.
Yeah. 40 home runs I could see.
Youkilis, good stop by McDonald. Long throw. Youkilis is retired on a fine defensive play. The Blue Jays third baseman robs the Red Sox third baseman.
You have to have quick hands to play third base. Quick reactions, and McDonald certainly has that. He knows he's got plenty of time. As soon as he catches it, sets himself and throws him out.
Blue Jays have had two good defensive plays tonight behind Jesse Litch. Cooper in the first inning, first batter, Jacoby Ellsbury. He robbed him of a base hit. Ortiz pops it up again. Litch on the move over by the dugout.
He wants to catch that pop up, doesn't he?
Wouldn't you? You don't want to throw another pitch to David Ortiz. Adrian Gonzalez has found his stroke here in the month of May.
Big numbers in the month of May. 6 of his 7 home runs have been hit in the last 10 days or so.
Bad news for the Blue Jays is Adam Lind, who had really found his stroke, is battling back spasms and hopefully get in the lineup maybe by Friday. Ortiz fights it off. Jesse Litch has thrown 98 pitches as he's trying to close out the 6th inning. Casey Jansen loosening up. Bounce the breaking ball. Teams combined for 6 home runs in last night's game. And there have been 2 hit here tonight. John McDonald and Adrian Gonzalez. Well, that's a good fastball.
Yeah.
Ortiz can do nothing but just foul it off.
You can't take it because it's so close. It could be strike 3. Watch him. He can't extend. He's got to pull his hands in. It's just off the plate.
Coming in there again. He got to this one. This is a line shot over Bautista's head out of the ballpark. David Ortiz, a home run here with 2 outs. A line drive shot into the pin.
Well, he got in there and he couldn't extend because it was just off the plate. Too close to take. The problem, though, if you miss, and it's very small, the margin for error is very small. Watch where this pitch ends up. Just gets the inner half, and Ortiz is able to get the barrel of the bat on the ball.
Ran back over the inside part of the plate, no doubt in Ortiz's mind. He hit it hard enough. Only question was whether it was high enough. Jesse Litch will leave the ball game. He leaves with a 1-run lead. 2 home runs in the inning. Casey Jansen on here in the 6th.
Adrian Gonzalez and David Ortiz going deep here in the 6th inning to make it a 1-run ball game. He'll turn things over to the Blue Jays bullpen, and it'll be Casey Janssen out here with 2 outs in the 6th.
Bullpen's going to have to finish this one off as Licht pitches into the 6th inning. Janssen in for the 15th time this season. He's allowed a run in just 2 of his 14 appearances this year.
J.D. Drew's reached twice, single and a walk. Right on the outside corner. You can't put it in a better spot than that.
That's where he is very effective, when he is carving up the corners and thinking aggressively out on that mound.
Went right back. This just drifted off the outside corner. Adrian Gonzalez. Blue Jays are happy this is a 2-game series.
Boy, the way he has been swinging the bat.
3 hits in last night's game, including a pair of home runs. He has a double and a homer tonight. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs.
Wow.
Looked good and sounded good.
I think J.D. Drew thought it was a strike, too. He flinched. It's right on the corner. Aaron Sebia holds the ball there for him, and Gary Darling is not going to call it.
Drew's not taking any chances now. He might have caught a break on that previous pitch, so he said, you know what, I'm not going to take anything close.
A little bit extra on that fastball from Janssen really surprised Drew. Locked him up, but he didn't get the call.
Pops this one up. Center fielder Rajai Davis. In and over to his right. Red Sox are retired here in the 6th, but Jesse Litch still in line for the win. It's a 1-run ball game, middle of the 6th. He goes over to Rajai Davis. He's got something for the center fielder, something for the third baseman. And then he says, oh, you know what? I've got to say something to you. David Cooper, first baseman, talking about defensive positioning, maybe talking about something they did on the base paths. But the coaches, you see them out here on the base paths when they're coaching first and third respectively, but they're coaching for 9 solid innings, and it starts about 11 o'clock in the morning.
They're in that video room. They're breaking down the team. I didn't see him earlier today, Brian Butterfield. I said, where have you been? He said, I've been in there all over Minnesota.
Yeah, getting ready for the next series.
David Cooper looks at an outside pitch. It's a ball and 2 strikes.
What a value it is to have great coaches.
This is a good coaching staff. Very good. Torey Lovullo in his first year as the first base coach coaches the outfielders. The holdovers, Bruce Walton and Dwayne Murphy. Brian Butterfield, of course, been here 9 years. And then Pat Henkin, a former Cy Young Award winner, is in the bullpen, and Don Wakamatsu is the new bench coach to help out the new manager. It's a good, very hard-working coaching staff. Two balls and 2 strikes. Blue Jays with a 1-run lead. Lackey takes too much time. Cooper was hit by a pitch. He's also flied to right. There's Pat Henkin down in the bullpen. Full count.
I asked Dwayne Murphy today about the home run that Cooper hit. Said, what was the biggest thing you liked about that? He said he got his timing down. That's one thing that pitchers will do when young hitters come up. They will try and challenge you.
There's a breaking ball pulled towards second. Pedroia with the underhand toss. 1 out here in the 6th. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell for another update.
Number 6, John McDonough.
Roy Halladay took the loss last night. He had 16 consecutive wins in games which he was staked to a lead. That was the case last night, but he would be charged with the loss. McDonald goes after the first pitch. 2 quick outs here in the 6th. Now, one final thought on the coaches. We were talking about Brian Butterfield, Torey Lovullo, and all the coaching staff. Weekly, I answer questions on Sportsnet.ca, and one question this week was to describe the roles of the various coaches. And if you go on Sportsnet.ca, you can see how I describe how these guys contribute every single day. And I think that's the biggest travesty of baseball. Coaches aren't involved in the minimum salary, and they're so underpaid for what they do, what they bring to the ballpark every single day.
The hours that they put in preparing the team to compete that night.
And it's universal. It's just not one organization, and the coaches have never been part of the Players Association. Obviously, their own management. Rajai Davis has had a good night. A couple of hits. He scored 2 runs. He has a couple of steals. 11 stolen bases now for the Blue Jays center fielder. Make it a 3-hit night for Davis.
And this is when the fun begins right here. Davis with his 3rd base hit of the night. Hanging breaking ball from Lackey, ripped into left field. Lackey has done a good job to get his team into the 6th inning. Pacing himself.
It's only the 7th hit that Lackey has given up, 3 of them to Davis. Davis, with 2 steals tonight, has tied for the American League lead with 11. Escobar swings at the first pitch.
Tied with Jacoby Ellsbury and Elvis Andrus.
Also Ichiro Suzuki of the Mariners with 11. So I would venture to say he's going to shoot for 12 right here. Ball bounced to the mound. Lackey will underhand it to Gonzalez. Escobar is retired. Davis didn't get a chance to run. He has 3 hits. He's had a big offensive night. We've played 6 innings. Blue Jays lead 4-3. Milwaukee. Big playoff. We'll have every game of the Memorial Cup. This year it'll take place in Mississauga, Ontario. Starts on May 20th. It'll run through the 29th. The 2011 MasterCard Memorial Cup right here on Rogers Sportsnet. Casey Janssen came in with 2 outs in the 6th and retired J.D. Drew. He will face Crawford, Saltalamacchia, and Iglesias here in the 7th. Ball and a strike to Carl Crawford. Crawford has extended his personal hit streak to 11 straight. He singled to left his last time up. There's a base hit into left field. Patterson over to cut it off, and he'll get it back in quickly. Crawford almost got caught as he snuck back into first.
This is a play by the infielder. You don't want to take anything for granted after you have secured a single. Turn your back on the infield, and it almost worked for the Jays. Heads up play there by Escobar.
Leadoff man aboard. The catcher, Jared Saltalamacchia. Crawford can run. We have seen that for years when he played for Tampa Bay. He has 5 stolen bases so far this season. Aaron Sebia has thrown out 26% of the base stealers. Pitch out, nothing doing. Big John Roush begins to loosen up. We're in the 7th inning. Jesse Litch went 5 2/3. Jansen's got a pretty quick move.
Yes, very quick. Crawford with a very aggressive lead over at first base. He's got 1 foot on the carpet. 5 for 7 this year in stolen bases. 400, over 400 in his career.
Good cut on a high fastball. Ball and a strike to the Red Sox catcher. Jansen does a good job of diffusing the running game. Base stealers are just 1 for 2 against Casey Jansen. He has a good sense of holding the ball, freezing the runner at first, and then mixing up his release times.
And you add all that up with a good quick move. To have a good move for a right-hander, you have to have quick feet.
No pitch. Gary Darling, at the request of Saltalamacchia, calls time. He bailed out right at the end. Saltalamacchia never gave up his batting stance. Watch the catcher. You can see he stayed in the box and asked for time, and it was granted. Cut on and fouled into the seats. Jared Saltalamacchia was traded to the Red Sox from Texas last year at the end of the season. July 31st, came over in a trade deadline deal. He was supposed to be the long-term catcher for the Rangers, and it didn't work out. Long drive right field. This is a high, deep drive that's just foul. Hit off the facing of the upper deck. There's no doubt about the distance.
Plenty of distance for Saltalamacchia. He's just out in front by a hair. You were talking about him being Texas's long-term answer. He was also the Atlanta Braves' long-term answer. He's already breaking it down. Casey Janssen trying to push that ball foul, but boy, you can see it hit off the facing of that fifth deck.
Saltalamacchia turned 26 on May 2nd. Still a lot of time for him to deliver on his potential. Well, Crawford's having a tough time getting back to first.
It's an aggressive lead way out there. He's a very aggressive ball player. You can see he's got 1 foot on the turf, but he's making it back pretty easily, I think. Getting that hand back on that back part of the bag.
Pitch out. Sometimes pitchers will tip their hand when they throw the ball too quickly, and I think that's what happened. Crawford picked up on it.
Yeah, that he was slide stepping or going a little bit too quick. Crawford had actually broke to second base and then sniffed it out. Threw up the stop sign.
There goes Crawford. Pitches away. Throw to second. In time. What a tag by Escobar. It's a double play as Saltalamacchia was called out on the strike 3 call. And Escobar, boy, what a tag he put on Crawford.
Well, first of all, the throw. That's why they are out here working on it. This right here, trying to get quicker. But then Escobar picks and then throws his glove right where Crawford is sliding, and he gets him right before he gets to the bag. Good call by the second base umpire, Bruce Dreckman, right in on that one. Again, Aaron Sebia was out here earlier working on his stance where he feels like he can get a little bit quicker into throwing motion, and it worked for him right there.
If you unload in a hurry, and even if the ball is in the dirt, you've got a shot at the good base runners. And Escobar went down and scooped the short hopper and put a quick tag on Crawford. What a turnaround in this inning. And now it's a ball and 2 strikes. 2 outs. We'll strike him out, throw him out, double play. Escobar has become rock solid at short.
2 errors, but there's more to it than that. Taking control, those plays like that, they're not going to show up in the box score, but it was a big play.
Escobar from Cuba had a visit with Iglesias. He too defected from Cuba. And they got together and talked before yesterday's game. Cut on and miss. Casey Janssen gave up a leadoff single to call Crawford in the 1-run game, but has a 1-2-3 inning. Good tag at second. And Colby Armstrong of the Toronto Maple Leafs. The TD Comfort Zone, courtesy of TD. John Lackey working here in the 7th inning. It's a one-run ball game. Boy, and I tell you what, you can say all you want about Lackey's numbers, but this is what he is. He's a veteran. He has a winning record for his career. This is his 273rd start, and here he is pitching into the 7th.
A hoss, keeping his team in the game. 2007, he led the American League in earned run average, 3.01, when he was a member of the Los Angeles Angels. His ERA has gone up every year since then. He's not the fireballer that he was when he first came up, but he knows how to pitch.
Leadoff walk to Corey Patterson. It's time for an update. Here's Jamie Campbell. Mariners and the Orioles had a little dance around first base in yesterday's game. Felix Piet and Justin Smoak had a little collision just short of first base. It wasn't a hockey fight, that's for sure. A lot of pushing and shoving and jawing. Long drive, left field. Carl Crawford back at the track, at the wall, off the wall. Corey Patterson had gone all the way back to tag up for some reason, and moves only to second base. That's the longest single of the season. But Patterson must have thought Crawford was going to make a routine catch. He went back to tag up, and the ball hit high off the wall.
You can go about halfway. This one looked like it got off the end of the bat just a little bit, and it's carrying. Bautista making sure that it gets down. But you're right, Patterson, you looked up and he was trying to tag, and he can only get to second base.
Well, he's got to be at second base on that ball before it hits the wall. John Lackey, always been very animated.
Luckily that ball didn't leave the ballpark.
Well, I just think that Patterson has to go all the way to second. When that ball hits the wall and he sees it bounce safely, then he moves to third. But he thought that Crawford was going to catch it and thought he could move up on the fly out.
Especially a guy who can run. You know, if he goes to second base,
will fly ball to left. Crawford should make the play, and he does.
You know, and they catch it. He goes back to first, and he still has the ability to steal the bag. This is what he did here. He reads that Crawford's going to catch it. He goes halfway. That's the right thing. Now he goes back for some reason, think he's going to tag, and really can only move up one base.
He can actually go all the way to the dirt at second and wait for the outcome of that ball. And when it hits off the wall, then he can go to third. But he thought it was going to be a routine out. Aaron Hill singled his last time up. He singled into right with 2 outs in the 5th.
Well, now you can make up for that right here by stealing third. Rajai Davis has done it the last 2 nights. Pedroia has snuck in a little bit behind second base. But he's going to have to get a bigger lead if he wants to do that.
Drilled to left field. Crawford almost in his tracks is there, and he'll hit it hard, but right at the left fielder. So a walk and a long single, and then 2 fly ball outs. Looked like the Blue Jays had a golden opportunity. They still have a chance with Aaron Sebia batting with 2 outs. John Lackey wants to talk things over with Saltalamacchia. We mentioned the Red Sox bullpen has really been overworked. And you can see the veteran Tim Wakefield is loosening up.
4 innings in 6 of the last 7 games for their bullpen. But Lackey has given him some distance tonight, pitching into the 7th inning.
J.P. Arencibia 0 for 3. Pitch right on the outside corner. Corey Patterson was jockeying off the bag at second base, and Bautista almost was drawn into breaking for second. Patterson took a big step toward third. Again, John Lackey with that inside wheel move just to keep an eye on Patterson. Back at Fenway Park in a close ball game, and Blue Jays were trying to get back in the game. Corey Patterson was thrown out at third. He walked to start the 8th inning. He stole second and then was caught as he broke, and Felix Dubron, the left-handed reliever, did an inside spin move and got Patterson going from second to third. That was the first out of the inning. So he's going to make sure he gets a good jump should he break for third.
Not get picked off, but still score on a base hit.
In the dirt. Now he won't have to worry about it. It's a full count and 2 outs. Both runners will be off on the pitch. It's a 1-run ball game here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
They are staying away from J.P. Arencibia. He homered in last night's game on a pitch that was down and in. You can see from pitch tracks, everything is away from it.
Full count, 2 outs. Runners are on the move. Outside, bases are loaded. So David Cooper, the hero in last night's game, will get a chance to add to the Blue Jays lead here with 2 outs.
Good time to get your first hit with a man in scoring position.
2 walks in the inning issued by Lackey.
Ray Murphy was talking about Cooper today, and he feels like he's going to hit for power as soon as he gets around the league a little bit longer. He says he's got a beautiful swing. Just has to learn to hit it out in front a little bit more consistently.
Off-speed pitch on the outside corner. It's not unusual for a hitter to come to the big leagues without many home runs in the minor leagues. I think the exception is the guys that hit a lot of home runs in the minor league, like Arencibia. But most guys develop their power once they get to the big leagues.
So he's got good base as a hitter because he's hit for good average in the minor leagues. Can hit the ball to left field. Murph tends to think if he's going to hit home runs, he's going to have to pull it. He doesn't have that opposite field power, that natural power that an Adrian Gonzalez has.
Patterson, Bautista, Arencibia on the bases. A 3-1 count now to David Cooper.
And this is where the timing is so important. Look for that one pitch and try and hit it out in front. Go back and think about that at bat you had last night against Daniel Bard. Visualize that, put it in your brain. Try and put that same swing right here on this 3-1 pitch.
No place to put Cooper. 3-1, 2 outs. For a breaking ball. Walk the running. Lackey is asking for the appeal to third. It's 5-3 Blue Jays.
Pretty good at bat. 3-1 breaking ball, and he stays off of it. Kurt Young very quickly to the mound.
5th walk issued by Lackey. Forces in a run here in the 7th.
Seen during the lawn and garden sale, only at Home Hardware and Home Hardware Building. Center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Two outs. John McDonald has homered here tonight. The interesting first pitch for John Lackey after he had the bases loaded and walked. John McDonald has been hard charging on first pitches.
Threw him a breaking ball, fell behind, came in with a fastball, and he unloaded. You see him looking around to the infield, trying to get an idea.
Two-run lead for the Jays. Ball on the strike. Breaking ball downstairs. 117 pitches now for John Lackey. It's a season high. He'll throw him all night long to keep his team in this ball game.
He has paced himself very well, getting his team into the 7th inning despite 5 walks.
McDonald, fair ball down the left field line. Bautista's hit. Right behind him's Aaron Sebia. Cooper will stop at third. John McDonald, a 3 RBI night.
And that will probably do it for John Lackey, as John McDonald comes up with a big base hit. Breaking ball pulls it down the left field line. Stays inside that ball. Rips it into the corner. A couple of runs will score. They have to hold Cooper at third base, but Johnny Mack comes up with a very clutch 2-out base hit. And it spells the end for John Lackey.
Big night for John McDonald. He's homered and hit his 3rd double of the season. He's knocked John Lackey out of the game. It'll be the veteran Tim Wakefield when we come back to Rogers Center. Tim Wakefield throws a first pitch to Rajai Davis. The knuckleball stays high. Wakefield, with this appearance, becomes the oldest player ever to play in a game for Boston. Base hit left field. 2 more runs will come in to score. The throw to the plate was cut off. Rajai Davis has had some night. 4 for 4. He's driven home 2 here in the 7th.
That ties a career high in hits for a game. This is the 6th time in his career that he has picked up 4 hits in a game. Last time last September at Seattle. Knuckleball, and he just drives it right by Youkilis into left field and picks up a couple of RBIs. Escobar takes a knuckleball for a strike.
Davis has been a spark plug from the 9th hole tonight. We mentioned Wakefield becoming the oldest player to ever play in a game for Boston. He's 44 years old and 282 days. He passes Deacon McGuire, who played his last game in 1908.
Oldest active player in the game right now. Tim Wakefield. He's done it all. He has started. He has closed. He has been a long man. He's been a setup man.
Escobar strikes out. Wakefield comes in and gives up a base hit and then strikes out Escobar. John McDonald with a big night. He and Rajai Davis have done it all offensively. Lead. Casey Jansen worked an inning and a third, gives way to John Roush, making his 16th appearance of the season.
Giving up just 9 hits this year in 13 2/3 innings.
Roush got an out to end the 8th inning in last night's game. Then he turned things over to Frank Francisco, and Francisco gave up the game-tying home run to start the night. Blue Jays would win it in extra innings.
Well, one thing you're going to get from John Roush, you're going to get a strike. He comes out of that bullpen just breathing strikes. Fastball, breaking ball, a little bit of a changeup.
Bounce that breaking ball all the way back to the backstop. John Roush is not a power pitcher. He's a command pitcher, commands both sides of the plate, rarely throws a ball over the heart of the plate. Jacoby Ellsbury, his hit streak is in jeopardy here. He's 0 for 3. He's got a 19-game hit streak on the line. Good play by John Roush. Ellsbury's retired. Fans, join Bob McCown each weekday at 4 p.m. It's a 3-hour sports talk radio show on Sportsnet 1. He'll keep you up to date on everything around the baseball world, as well as all of the playoff news from the NBA and the NHL. You can also listen at fan590.com. Bob McCown has his finger on the pulse of the sporting world. 3 hours a day from 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern. One out here in the 8th inning. Austin Pedroia 0 for 3. Boy, that comeback fastball, huh?
Strike 2. Boom, boom.
Just catches the outside corner. And this is what John Farrell would love to see. Everybody with the same kind of command as John Roush.
You got to make them earn their way on.
Breaking ball. 2 outs.
Got a 6-run lead. It's in the 8th inning. No free passes. Here's the ball. Let's see you try and knock it and get something going. The perfect guy for this situation right here, John Roush.
John Roush signed with the White Sox and was traded to Montreal along with Gary Majeski for Carl Everett in 2004. And then Montreal became Washington, and he played in Washington until he was traded to Arizona. And he's going to have a very quick 1-2-3 inning. Davis brings it in. 1-2-3 in the 8th for John Roush on just 10 pitches. A job well done. For strikes, and he set down the top of the order. 1-2-3.
That's what he does best. Comes out of that bullpen. Throwing strikes.
Tim Wakefield came on in the 7th inning with 2 outs. Corey Patterson swings at that knuckler. 9-3 Blue Jays. This is exactly what the plan was going back to spring training, even in the offseason. The acquisition of Rajai Davis brings that added dimension to the offense, the speed dimension. Corey Patterson as well gives you some speed. But Davis has had a big night. 4 hits, 2 runs scored. He drove in 2, and he has 2 steals. He now is tied for the American League lead in stolen bases.
That's what was so impressive. As that ball's fouled off by Patterson, was the havoc he caused on the bases back in the 4th inning. After the home run by John McDonald, Davis singled. Jays would score another big run on a sacrifice fly. The only other time they got the ball out of the infield. Created that run all by himself. You know, Escobar was happy for that. He got the sacrifice fly and the RBI.
Patterson stays alive. John Lackey pitched the Red Sox into the 7th inning. 6 2/3 in total for Lackey. He was charged with 9 earned runs on 9 hits, 5 walks, contributing to that. He had 3 walks in the 7th. Patterson drills it to right field, and that ball is off the wall. Patterson's headed for second. Corey Patterson's second hit of the night.
You know, it was a 1-run game heading into the 7th inning. Lackey, I don't think, pitched as poorly as his numbers are going to end up. Patterson with the ball off the wall in right field. A couple of walks came around to score. The big hit was the McDonald double last inning. Really broke this game open.
Jose Bautista takes a pitch up and away. Well, Patterson's had a couple of hits. John McDonald has homered and had an 2-run double. He's driven in 3. Rajai Davis has had 4 hits. Davis has had 6 hits in 9 at-bats in the series. Raised his average 58 points.
4 stolen bases.
4 steals.
2 tonight, 2 last night.
He's scored 3 runs and driven in 2. That's what they had hoped to get from Davis, and boy, he's healthy. You can see that. And he injured himself first game of the season. Sprained his ankle. He wasn't right. Eventually would go on the disabled list, but he can show you what he can mean. We have seen that in this series.
I think that affected his hitting also. Yeah. That it was the push-off foot where he just didn't seem to have any balance, and he was getting off that backside a little bit too quickly. But since he went on the disabled list and got it right, he's come back a different player.
He's had 5 singles and a triple in this series, and I think the big number, 4 steals. I mean, he changed the complexion of the entire game tonight. Just running the bases, and of course he won the game last night in my mind, stealing 2 bases. Bautista is called out on the knuckleball. He was headed for first.
I think if he goes back and looks at this, it's going to be a strike. Tremendous movement right at the end.
Tim Wakefield is the oldest active major league player. And tonight he has become the oldest player ever to put on a Red Sox uniform.
He is, when he retires, going to be holding a lot of Red Sox numbers, records when he retires. And he didn't start in the Red Sox organization.
Started with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Actually started as an infielder.
As an everyday player. Pitched a couple of seasons in Pittsburgh. 1992 he went 8-1, and 93, and they released him. Boston picked him up, and he has started, he has relieved, he has closed. And when it's all said and done, there's going to be a couple records that he is going to hold.
It's a foul down into the seats. Tim Wakefield, in 92, his rookie season, came up with Pittsburgh. Went 8-1 in the regular season, and then 2-0 in the league championship series against the Atlanta Braves. He pitched 2 complete games as a rookie in the league championship series for the Pirates. Rivera, deep and short. Iglesias, long throw, no chance. Blue Jays will have Thursday off. Ricky Romero will toe the rubber on Friday night. That'll be at Minnesota against the Twins. Friday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 4:30 p.m. Pacific Time. Jays on Sportsnet. It'll be an opening day matchup. Ricky Romero will face Carl Pavano in the opener of the 3-game series. Romero bested Pavano in the season opener here on April 1st. Infield single for Juan Rivera.
You were talking about 1992, Pittsburgh and Atlanta, and Tim Wakefield. I thought for sure we were going to play the Pirates in the World Series. Atlanta came back and beat them. Then it was Atlanta and Toronto. That great series, the Pirates versus Atlanta.
Wakefield working here in the 8th inning. Just 1 out, 2 on. Blue Jays in a position to sweep this short 2-game series. They won the opener against the Tigers and then lost 3 in a row. And then they had the matchup John Lester against Kyle Drabek. The Blue Jays took the lead in the 8th, gave up the lead in the 9th in the tie situation, then won it in the bottom of the 10th last night. Hill drives it to right, ball carried a long way, and Patterson will tag and move over to third. 2 outs. But the Blue Jays trying to inch closer to the 500 mark. If they would win this game tonight, they would be 17-20 for the season. The Boston Red Sox would fall to 17-20.
You know, the Red Sox have really had their way here at this ballpark against the Blue Jays. They have won 10 of their last 13 games here.
And the Red Sox, for the matchup at Toronto, have a 136-108 record. They have beaten the Blue Jays in Toronto. Terry Francona's club a little bit beat up right now in the pitching department. They have altered their pitching matchup going in to face the Yankees. Wakefield strikes out Aaron Sevilla to end the inning. Gives up a couple of hits but strands 2 base runners. We will go to the 9th. The Blue Jays leading Boston by 6. And Francisco out of the pen. Bruce, goodbye waiting. Another first only from Rogers.
4th inning, Blue Jays up 2-1. We'll make it 3-1 as John McDonald uncorks his 2nd home run of the season off of John Lackey. Blue Jays would go on to score another run that inning, and then 5 more in the 7th to make it 9-3. Johnny Mack with the play of the game. He would also add a double for 2 runs in that 7th inning. Frank Francisco takes over for the 9th time this season. Francisco 2 for 3 in save opportunities this year. He drew one with the home run given up in yesterday's game. Respectable ERA of 3.52.
Euclid, Ortiz, and Drew, the scheduled hitters here in the ninth. Francisco gave up a leadoff home run in the game last night. That was Adrian Gonzalez's second homer of the game.
And I like that. Get right back out there. Get a positive feel with the off day tomorrow and then the road trip starting. Right back out there.
Right back up on the horse. Obviously not a save situation, but Francisco needs a little positive outing here. Blue Jays have out-hit the Red Sox 12-7. 3-0. Francisco started the season on a disabled list, and John Farrell would love to get him up to speed, and that's why he's going to get this inning of work here, just to keep him sharp and to continue to build his arm strength. Ball for a strike.
He has only made 8 appearances this season. Missed some time this spring with biceps tendonitis and a little problem in the front of his shoulder.
Leadoff walk to Euclid. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell for an update. That would snap Cleveland's home winning streak at 14 if that holds up.
Snap their streak of walk-off wins also.
At 4 in a row. How about that?
That's been, what, 100 years since that's happened for the Indians?
103-year-old record. The 4th straight home game that Cleveland won in its final turn at bat, matching the longest streak in team history. Bouncing ball. Escobar gets it, flips it to McDonald. What a double play. Wow. Just to punctuate a great night, Yunel Escobar takes a hit away from David Ortiz and turns it into 2. John McDonald.
Yeah, and it's your normal 6-5-3 double play with the shift on and Ortiz at the plate. That's McDonald, the third baseman, who's going to come across and finish it off. On a strong throw to first base, Escobar makes the play at a flip. Perfect. And McDonald.
That's exactly why you leave Escobar at shortstop, to keep him in his normal position. John McDonald can play both sides of the bag, so he had no problems at all turning that into 2. Red Sox down to their final out. J.D. Drew. Well, what a turnaround in this series with John Lester opening up. We figure that's a tough matchup, and it was. But the Blue Jays won in 10 innings, and now they have had a bit of a laugher here tonight. 9-3 with 2 outs in the ninth.
And an acrobatic play here in the 9th inning.
We've had 3 outstanding defensive plays, and it started with the first batter, Cooper at first base. And then John McDonald took a hit away from Kevin Euclid at third base. That was in the 6th. And now a flashy double play started by Escobar, turned by John McDonald. Three balls and a strike. Count. Blue Jays are a chance to sweep the short 2-game series. 2-out walk. 2 walks in the inning issued by Francisco. Carl Crawford with 2 hits tonight. Average up to 220. A.D. Drew will take second base. No stolen base for Drew.
Uncharacteristic from Frank Francisco. Throwing a lot of pitches. 15 of them now. He's usually, here it is. Let's see what you can do with it. Attacks him with the fastball.
Yeah, he's had 2 walks in this inning. Sharply hit, but Hill is there, and that'll do it. Blue Jays have swept the Red Sox. Jesse Litch picks up the win. Big offensive night. Blue Jays scored 9 runs on 12 hits. John McDonald with his 2nd home run of the season. Escobar, a couple of fine defensive plays. He picks up a sac fly. Rajay Davis, the center fielder, had a big night. Ties his career high with 4 hits, 2 more steals, and drives in a pair.
Shows you the kind of offense that this could be, that it can do a few things, hit the home run, and steal a lot of bases. It's nice for the Blue Jays to have a laugher. 22 of the first 36 games have been decided by 2 runs or less. They win this one by 6. Get the good pitching, the good defense, and some good hitting, and you enjoy your couple days off now.
A little respite for a weekend. The Blue Jays now pull even with the Boston Red Sox. Red Sox 17-20, same record for the Blue Jays, and it's a good way to end up a short 6-game homestand by sweeping the Red Sox. They will have an off day tomorrow, and then they'll go on the road. They'll play 5 games, 3 in Minnesota and 2 against the Tigers. So John Lackey is saddled with the loss. He falls to 2-5 for the season. Jesse Litch picks up the win. For Jesse Litch, he's now 4-2. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned on Sportsnet. Vancouver Whitecaps soccer is next. We'll see you Friday night from Minnesota.